It's another day and we are out here in the shop, and thank heavens for that, because weather has turned cold. There's not going to be much more working outside for the rest of this year and the beginning of next year. So we're in here. We've got limited amount of space because I've got everything kind of shoehorned in, but I think we still have enough to continue making progress on this old girl. Goal tonight is to see if we can get that motor and tranny out of there. I think that'd be a good goal. Started ordering parts for the front suspension. We got our leaf spring kit with shackles and hangers, and I have a late 50s Chevy truck I-beam that I was hoping to be able to adapt these spindles and brakes and everything from this car onto there. But been doing some research, and kingpins, not quite the same size to do. The Buick Kingpin is smaller diameter than the Chevy, so it would be loose in this I-beam. Next plan is to use the Chevy Kingpin, right, and use it for, and just adapt the bearings, ream it out and put different bigger bearings in the spindles. But the Chevy Kingpins are about an inch too short. Not quite an inch, about between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch too short. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to do. Next thing that comes to my mind is, other than buying a whole complete different setup or trying something else, which I really don't want to do, because I've been rat holing parts and trying to make this as budget friendly, kind of the old way. I just hate buying parts and kits and just throwing it on, because I don't know, pretty much everybody does that. Not everybody, but a lot of people do that, and I think mixing and matching, learning, making my mind work is part of the fun of it, and that's kind of how the old early hot rodders did it, and just trying to do with what you got. So anyways, I'm still thinking maybe I can ream these holes out here a little bit bigger and then sleeve them back down to the right diameter for the Buick Kingpins. So that's probably the next possible route to go if we're going to use this axle. But if we use this axle, we will also have to narrow it, because kingpin to kingpin on the Buick right now is 51 inches. Kingpin to kingpin on this axle is 55 inches. So it's about 4 inches wider overall, which the right wheel and tire setup, super skinny on the front, you could probably make it still fit inside the fenders. But I don't know. So we'll see what we come up with. That's pending. This is all pending. My mind's mulling over all this stuff, but for now we're gonna focus on continuing to pull this thing apart, get it cleaned out, cleaned up, so that we can really start brainstorming on frame rails and all that stuff. So let's get to it. Alright, so when I was unbolting the front clip, I already undid the motor mount bolts. So the motor mounts are undone. Right now we got to focus on exhaust, wiring, hoses, that type of stuff up here. And then we'll have to try to get the torque tube, all that stuff disconnected, shift linkage for the tranny, that type of stuff, and then see if we can pull the tranny and the engine together. So then we can just put this whole thing into storage the way that it is, and maybe use it for an upcoming project, or just keep it rat holed away just in case something else happens to the other car. So here we go. Well, there's a lot more of that undone than I thought there was. Flat blade screwdriver took care of most of the hoses. Not much wiring. Got to undo one bracket from the throttle linkage. And cut the exhaust, or unhook the exhaust from the manifold, and she'll be ready up here on the top. So we'll get that stuff unhooked, and then it'll be time to crawl underneath. Yay. Well, two of those exhaust bolts were rounded off, and I finished rounding them off. So broke out the old fire sword and burned a little hair, melted some metal. Got a nice aroma going on in here now. So, well, exhaust should be freed up. So next step is underneath. Here we go. Alright, so we've got the engine. I jacked the front end of the car up a little bit. Got the engine weight pretty much taken off so that I'm getting as much clearance to crawl under here as possible. Shift linkage, torque tube, tranny cross member. Should be it, hopefully. Let's check it out. Alright, we're under here. I don't know why you gotta have a heater core to your transmission, but we got coolant lines running everywhere down here. So we'll start thinning that out, get that stuff unbolted and out of the way. Tranny cross member. Try to figure out the best way to unhook the shift linkage out of the way. I've never torn one of these torque tube connections apart on one of these cars, so that's gonna be an adventure. Got a drain pan, handful of tools. I doubt I grabbed all what I need, but hopefully it's a start. So I don't even know where to start. Right here, what size is that? It's that size. Yep. See, I'm already missing. Oh. I think that probably counts as having the right tool down here. Nope. Different size. It's always interesting to get under something new and different and try to figure out what the engineers were thinking. Luxury. I got stuff in my eyeball. Luxury. Cut that, but I didn't cut it in the right spot. Dang it. Band arm. Bend it up. That one was right in the eyeball. Uh-oh. I think what we need to do is undo this transmission bracket from the cross member and leave that hooked to the tranny. And then just unhook these coolant lines. Oh. I don't know how any of this stuff comes apart. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go. Oh. Oh. Okay. 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 Makes sense. Yeah, Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you put 800 bolts on the cross member? That's a good plan. Got a lot of stuff in the way. A lot of stuff crammed into a small space. They got all sorts of patches welded onto this frame too. There's a angle iron brace welded in there. Back's got a whole big old hole cut in it. X-frames dented all up. She's been through the ringer. All the way from back here. Alright, as you can probably tell from the state of my clothes, the mess under here, the smoke in the air, so there's 8 bolts holding the transmission cross member. 5 of them were loose, but the threads were galded, so I could not get the nuts off. Couldn't get in there with the Sawzall, tried to do it. Ended up having to go surgically through the floorboards with the fire saber and cut the heads off of them. Other than that, this old girl is kind of just hanging here between the cherry picker, and I got the I think that it's all the bolts that hold the transmission into the torque tube, so only thing I can think of now is to just start yanking on this thing and see if something moves, and if it does, good. If not, then we'll have to crawl back under there and try to unhook something else. But for now, we're just gonna start heave-hoeing on this and see what happens. Ooh. Alright, so it looks like we're coming out with the drive line, but the exhaust is hitting the frame rails up here, so it's not letting it pull anymore. So gotta see about unhooking that stuff now. The nuts that hold the exhaust under this manifold are just stripping, so I guess we'll just Sawzall this exhaust off and keep working. Where's my gloves going? Feels like it's hooked to something still, but maybe it's still supported by the drive line. Looks like the speedo cable. Forgot all about that thing, so we'll get that unhooked and try again. Oh, into the unknown. Right there somewhere. I can't even. There's so much crap on this thing down here. It's ridiculous. Can't even see it. Can't even see it. Oh, there I can see it. Barely. Barely. Can't tell if it's twisting or if it's just gunk. I think it's twisting. I'll be jiggered. That was easy. I'll be. Huh. It's weird. I don't feel like it has any detents or anything in the transmission for gear shift selection. Whoa! Hiya! Hiya! Now what are we hitting on? Gonna come up, I suppose. Come on, man! Wow. Look at that. Dynaflow. Bun, 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 bun. Dynaflow. Smoky Joe. Wow. Look at that. On the floor. I got a blank space, baby. We're gonna put that 455 in it. Not much of a singer, but that gave us some room. That gave us some room. All this stuff here unbolts off the firewall. So we'll get that stripped off. Finish pulling out all these hoses and junk. I kind of want to see if I can retain the steering box and this linkage how it is and run this same steering linkage except with a solid axle. I don't know. I don't know if that would work. I don't know why it wouldn't work, but if not, we can change it and do something else. Alright, well, I guess you can grab a socket to fit those and start cleaning that stuff off. Well, she's pretty well gutted like a fish. We got some stuff to clean up and a little bit of housekeeping here to do. So next time you see us, we'll probably be tinkering on this. I don't know, maybe we'll kick over onto Kinsey's truck on the International and work on it a little bit some more. Try to keep going on both of these things. We got parts for one, work on it. When we need parts for the other, work on it. So anyways, there's no telling what's coming next, but glad you're here with us and appreciate you watching. So we'll catch you next time.